YouTube much, you probably know that they just banned or demonetized a bunch of channels that are a little on the fringes. Some of them touch on conspiracy theories. Some of them they labeled as hate speech. Some that I don't really like the fact that they're conservative, but it's not hate speech. It's not hate speech just because you have conservative views and conspiratorial views. Yeah, people got demonetized that I didn't feel like were hate at all, and they didn't even exceed the guidelines, and they had no strikes against their channel at all. Stuff like that. It's just like that's dark. That is really, really ugly. And plus, Australia took the U.S. lead and started arresting journalists for exposing them, which is, you know, it's once this goes much further, it's not reversible because you're not allowed to look at the crimes of people who are policing themselves. And how do you get out of that? Especially once there's a full surveillance state in action, which is we're about there with like Alexa's being made by Amazon, who has a contract with the Department of Defense. So there's that. So, you know, I mean, technically you wouldn't even be able to talk about it if there's monitoring in your home. You can't, you know, you'd have to whisper in a corner about anything. And as far as like news or knowing what's going on in the world, nothing. Zip. All the YouTube goes silent. And where do we get our info from? The mainstream news? You know, I mean, they already are silent about what goes on in the world because they've been threatened by the government not to say a thing that makes the military in an unpleasant light. So, checkmate. Checkmate. There's no way to know what's going on in the world without it being completely fabricated and handed to you from the Department of Defense, saying this is what the Department of Defense is doing and everything is great. Forget about all of what you might have heard by whisper to whisper to whisper intercontinentally. We're going to have to go like criminal just trying to find out what's really going on in the world. And even then, what, we're going to protest when it's not even reinstate the Constitution, especially the First Amendment. Now, call me crazy, but I think it really worked well when that was in place. Just saying. Ooh. So things are happening really fast, in my opinion, as far as censorship and freedom's encroachment. You know, it's not just censorship, but privacy is all but gone. You know, with the technologies that we're actually we're willing to pay for Alexa, right? And have it in our home, even though the Department of Defense and Amazon have a contract. So, I mean, how brilliant is that? So our taxpayers pay for it. We pay for it as a consumer, and they get your data, which they openly sell to companies. So they make money from every single possible angle on Alexa and on other smart home devices that have microphones and cameras. There's already the stuff that they dropped on Julian Assange, which was Vault 7, was all the leaked hacking tools from the CIA's own personal stash. All of it, like all of the hacking tools are available to download right now, if you know how to use them. But so I wonder why they dropped those charges. Is it just to appease the news who was turning on them pretty fast, or was it because they didn't want attention to the fact that all their tools are open on the internet that you can go grab? I mean, it's like everybody having the military weapons, you know, because they're not. And that makes it so that they're not helpful to them because people know the inside of them. So they're only effective on people who don't know anything about it, which is most of us. But, you know, the hackers that they might want to go after, they know what's up with it now. So And they probably have the remedy for it before anybody even tries. You know, I mean, I don't know how deep they usually go with, say, government hacking tools, but one would think that they'd have some precautions to detect if that's being used. Anyway, the stuff that's happening with our freedoms is so rapid, and we've seen this before. History has seen this before in the form of like Stalin and Hitler, totalitarianism. We've seen it before, and it's happening so fast that we don't have a chance to protest it. Like, the masses they're not hip to it, and by the time they get hip to it, it's going to be too late. Because what do you do at the point where police themselves? We know how that goes with the men in blue. How's the policing themselves working out? They can do anything and get away with it. But at least there's some legal recourse. There's some legal recourse that they have. But if this goes down with the government, there's nothing. There's nothing for any of us. So, you know, with the police, it's like, well, they better not be seen shooting somebody for no reason. Well, if the government has got full immunity, who cares who's watching? They'll just gun anybody down. You know, they won't care. And they'll take any video you had of it. There'll be you can't talk about it. There'll just be no trace of you. That's done. No recourse. So we better speak up and do something. I don't know what right off, but fast. We better do something fast. We better come together and try to make some legislation that at least slows it down, you know. That's just my thing today. Take care. Fight the power.